Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm trading in my clay for yarn because for the past 5 months I've been working on this project and I am so proud of it. I've fallen in love with crochet, and after making myself some garments and dressing up my Kewpie babies, I knew that I wanted to tackle a crochet blanket. Currently, we have this tiny blanket for the couch that is way too small, and my husband and I always end up playing tug of war with it. So I wanted to create something that felt really warm and inviting with a little bit of color in it that me and my husband can both sit under comfortably. Which led to the creation of this absolutely massive sunflower granny square blanket. And today I'll show you how to do the sunflower granny squares and how to attach them so that you too can create yourself this blanket or any other granny square projects that you've had your eyes on. This pattern is easy to follow and a great way to learn some new techniques like changing colors. And if you're new to crochet, I think you'll be really surprised how easy it is to create this blanket. If you want to brush up on your skills some more, I think I might just have the perfect thing for you today, because this video is sponsored by Craftsy. Craftsy is your online resource for all things creative. At Craftsy, you will find many creative classes, including crochet projects for beginners and well-seasoned crocheters. From learning seamless crochet techniques to making your own crochet cactus garden, you'll find many inspiring projects here. But Craftsy offers classes way beyond crochet as well. Ever since getting into crochet myself, I've been really curious about knitting, which is a whole different beast. And Craftsy's startup library in knitting has been the perfect tool for me to get started with this new skill. You can also find classes on sewing, drawing, painting, and many more creative topics. Craftsy is continuously creating new classes to help you stay inspired. Their classes include step-by-step instructions, plus helpful downloadable resources to make learning easy. And the best part is that I get to offer the first 1,000 people who click the link in the description a full year of premium membership to Craftsy for only $1.49. I just finished this big blanket, and Craftsy has already put a million new projects in my head, so please go check out their amazing platform and join the Craftsy community today. Thank you so much to Craftsy for sponsoring this video, and let's get started on this sunflower blanket. This pattern creates a 15 cm by 15 cm granny square. You'll want to use a medium weight yarn. I'm using the Tweed Delight by Hobbii. It has some really fun speckles in it, which adds some color variation. And for the green leaves, I used a slightly chunkier green yarn. I used a 6mm crochet hook to finish this project. We're going to start with the center of the sunflower. The brown yarn that I'm using has an irregular thickness to it, which I really like. It adds a bit of extra texture to the finished project. And to create the center of your flower, we're going to start with a magic ring. To do this, drape the tail end over your 2 fingers, grab the working yarn and wrap it around to form an X on top of your 2 fingers. Now grab your hook and slide it under the first piece of yarn. Grab the second piece of yarn and pull it underneath the first piece, yarn over the working yarn and pull it through your loop. You've now successfully made a magic ring. Next, chain 1, and we're going to work 12 half double crochets into the magic ring. So yarn over, insert your hook into the center of your magic ring, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. Repeat this until you have 12 half double crochets into your magic ring. Once you finish your final half double crochet, pull the tail to tighten your loop. And join around with a slip stitch into the first stitch. Chain 1. And now we're going to add 2 half double crochets into each stitch. So go ahead and make 2 half double crochets into the first stitch, again into the second one, you should now have 4 stitches, so keep repeating this all the way around. You should be left with 24 half double crochets by the end of it. Once you finish your final half double crochet, join the round with a slip stitch and finish off. You can pull on the tail end in the center to tighten the middle of your magic ring. Don't forget to weave this part in so your magic ring stays closed. Next, we're going to work on the petals. So grab your yellow yarn, and of course, you can make this pattern in any color you might want. Create a loop. And to create the cute little border around the edge of the center, we're going to be working in the back stitches of the center. So where you would normally work through the front 2 stitches like so, we're instead going to work into these back stitches. So insert your hook and pull the loop of your new yarn color through. And secure your new color with a slip stitch. Chain 3. And next, we're going to work with a treble crochet stitch. So yarn over twice and put your hook into the next stitch. Remember to work in the back 2 stitches. Pull up a loop, and you should now have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Yarn over again and pull through the second 2 loops. Now repeat this into the same stitch we just worked in. And once you've added your second treble crochet, you should be left with 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And that's your first petal made. Next, chain 3 to create a chain space. And add 1 treble crochet into the next stitch. Again, working in the back stitches. Next, add 2 treble crochets into the next stitch. This time, you should be left with 4 loops on your hook. So the first petal will always have 3, the rest of the petals will always have 4. Yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. Chain 3 and keep repeating the same pattern. By the end, you should have 12 petals. On your last petal, chain 3 and join the round into the first stitch. Now cut off your yarn and you have made yourself a sunflower. Next, we're going to work on the first border with the green leaves. The green yarn that I used for this is really chunky because I like the contrast of it, but you can use the same yarn as the rest of your yarns. Insert your hook into any chain space and attach your green yarn. Chain 3. Next, we're going to add 2 double crochets into the chain space. But instead of finishing the second double crochet as usual, we're going to introduce our second color. So with the 2 loops still on your hook, create a loop with your white yarn and attach it to your hook. You're going to pull this loop through the 2 loops on your hook to finish the second double crochet. Now, what you want to do is to make sure that the green yarn is always running parallel along the back of your work. So don't let go of that green yarn. We're going to add 4 half double crochets into the next chain space. And while you do this, you want to make sure that you're working around that green yarn in the back. And once you've added your 4 half double crochets, give that green yarn a little tug to make sure that it's snug, and then the back of your work should look something like this. Next, add 4 more half double crochets into the next chain space. And on the last half double crochet, we're going to switch back to the green yarn. So when you have your 3 loops to form your half double crochet, instead of pulling the white yarn through, we're going to yarn over the green yarn and pull it through all 3 loops. You've now successfully switched colors twice. In the next chain space, add 3 double crochets. Make sure to keep the white yarn taut and that you're working around it in the back. Chain 2, and if you want your corners to be more square, you can chain 3. And add 3 more double crochets into the chain space to create your corner. And again, on the last double crochet, finish it by pulling the white yarn through the last 2 loops on your hook. Keep repeating this pattern along your flower, making sure you keep your yarns nice and taut as you go. Once you're at your final corner, add your 3 double crochets and chain 2. Join through the first stitch and cut off both your yarns. Of course, you want to make sure that you weave your ends in so that everything stays in place. I always do this at the very end of my projects, but you can also do this as you go. Next, we're going to create our final white border. Insert your hook into the chain space and attach your white yarn. Chain 2, add 2 double crochets into the chain space, next you're going to want to add a double crochet into every stitch. That means you'll have 13 double crochets until your next chain space. get to the next chain space, add 3 double crochets, chain 2, or 3 if you want it more square, and add another 3 double crochets to create your corner. Keep repeating this pattern, and once you're at your final corner, finish with 3 double crochets into the chain space, chain 2, and join into the first stitch to finish your square. And there you have it, your sunflower granny square is finished. Now, there's many ways to attach your squares, but I wanted to show you the method that I used to attach mine, which will give you a really pretty braided finish. Insert your hook into one of the chain spaces and pull through your loop. Next, with the loop on your hook, insert into the chain space of your second square and pull through to create a slip stitch to attach your squares. What you're going to do next is alternate slip stitches on your squares. So put your hook through the next stitch on your first square to create a slip stitch. Then insert your hook through the next stitch on your second square and slip stitch. Keep repeating this pattern, alternating between your squares. It's definitely a little bit more tedious than some of the other joining techniques, but I think the result is so worth it. Once you reach the chain spaces, do the same thing into the chain space, and I like to add an extra slip stitch to make sure the corners are extra secure. And look how gorgeous this is. I think this adds a lot of character, and the yarns that I've used add a lot of texture. And of course, you can continue this method for whatever length you need your project to be. And there you have it, the perfect starting point to create your very own heirloom crochet blanket. Or maybe you'll have another project in mind using granny squares. Either way, if you end up using this tutorial, I'd love to see your creations, so please tag me when they're finished. You can find me on socials at The Cartmeister. Next week, I'll be back with my regular clay content with a spooky Halloween special, so please look forward to that. And thank you so much for watching today's video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time. Bye!